Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
Welcome back. A hearing is set for next Tuesday in the case for Sean Diddy Combs. This just days after jurors delivered a mixed verdict in his sex trafficking and racketeering trial.
Donald Trump is spiraling, and he's not even trying to hide it. Over the past week, his Truth Social feed has become a digital freak show of unhinged fury and bizarre AI hallucinations. We're talking full-blown deep-faked videos of Barack Obama being hauled off in handcuffs, surreal memes of Joe Biden in a straitjacket, and one particularly disturbing animation showing Hillary Clinton morphing into a literal swamp monster. It's not satire, it's not clever, it's pure panic in pixels. And every post screams the same thing. Trump is scrambling. But why now?
How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
The answer, it seems, is buried under years of glittery red carpets and smoky backroom deals where Trump and Sean Diddy Combs allegedly played far dirtier than anyone ever guessed. With Diddy now awaiting sentencing after being convicted of ferrying paid companions across state lines for what prosecutors described as multi-day pleasure retreats, Trump's name is floating through the same dark waters. Whispers have started to surface, some from former event staff, others from people with deep ties to Palm Beach, claiming that many of Diddy's notorious freak-off parties didn't just happen in secret penthouses or Beverly Hills mansions. Some, allegedly, went down inside Mar-a-Lago itself.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide.
Suddenly, Trump's digital tantrums start to make a lot more sense. This isn't your average attention-hungry bluster. It's a firestorm designed to distract, a calculated media cyclone stirred up right as more eyes start looking toward how deeply entangled he really was with both Epstein and Diddy. And let's not forget, this isn't just a case of old photos. It's about the timing. Because while the former president's base fumes over the Department of Justice backpedaling on Epstein files, Trump seems laser-focused on creating any chaos he can to bury what's coming next. He's even threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal over reports of a lewd drawing allegedly sent to Epstein, fighting paper cuts while the roof smolders. Multiple insiders, some linked to event security, others who once worked logistics at Trump properties, are now hinting that Mar-a-Lago may have served as a hush-hush headquarters for some of Diddy's most controversial escapades. Allegedly, Trump and Diddy had a kind of informal arrangement. The real estate mogul turned politician offered privacy, protection, and in exchange, favorable mentions, donations, and, as one former associate put it, a seat at the shadow table. We're talking about a bond that may have gone far beyond party circuits and red carpets, a transactional alliance where the currency was silence.
I'm sorry, I'm just I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck during those years. You're still stuck 21 years later.
And now, that silence is cracking. The firing of prosecutor Maureen Comey, who not only led investigations into Diddy, but also played a pivotal role in the Epstein saga, wasn't just eyebrow-raising, it was explosive. Comey herself called it what it was, a naked power move. In her own words, fear is the tool of a tyrant. Ousted without explanation, she made clear that the rule of law was being bent for the benefit of the powerful. The timing of her removal, just as the Epstein files were expected to finally surface, smells less like coincidence and more like a desperate cover-up. And just when we thought this power play couldn't get darker, enter the secret tapes. One former Mar-a-Lago staffer claims that certain security areas of the estate were equipped with private surveillance systems not tied into the general property feed. What were they capturing? According to the rumors swirling around industry fixer circles and whispered through back channels of legal defense firms, Trump may have had access to intimate footage from events he and Diddy both attend, footage that some believe was used not for security, but for leverage.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just once every few weeks. It's every day, every hour.
Could this be the hidden chip Trump held all these years? The silent threat he dangled to keep people close, quiet, and complicit? The idea that Trump may have assisted in shielding Diddy, especially as federal heat intensified, gets more believable when you connect the dots. Trump's occasional vagueness when asked about Diddy, his suggestion that nobody has asked for a pardon, while still hinting that people are thinking about it, and their tangled past filled with red carpet photo ops and luxury box appearances, none of that feels harmless anymore, especially now that Diddy's conviction confirms that those whispers of freak-off weekends weren't just over-the-top party lore. They were built on coercion, surveillance, and in some cases, documented harm. But while Diddy sits in a Brooklyn lockup awaiting his October sentencing, Trump is launching deepfakes of his political enemies and retweeting AI-generated courtroom sketches with a manic glee. This isn't just trolling, it's deflection strategy 101. Sources close to Diddy's legal team say the mogul's past habit of filming his bedroom escapades might have inspired Trump's latest obsession with synthetic media. The line between fantasy and manipulation has blurred. The deeper question, is Trump just using AI for viral fodder, or is he preparing something far more sinister?
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak-off, I'm going to release one of the freak-off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate you."
We've seen this tactic before. Accusations of blackmail, allegations of footage used as leverage. Diddy, after all, was infamous for archiving his freak-off parties like they were episodes of a very personal, very dark reality show. If Trump was watching and learning all those years, could he now be applying the same tactics, just dressed up in digital code and machine learning tricks? One former campaign advisor, speaking on background, claimed that Trump's inner circle recently began exploring generative AI tools, not just for memes or campaign graphics, but for deep risk analysis. Translation: fabricating convincing media to pressure, discredit, or silence those who might turn on him. A whole new arsenal of deniability. No need for real footage when you can manufacture loyalty through fear. And if that's true, if we're watching a former president of the United States weaponize fake media to drown out real scandal, then we may have just entered a new era where power doesn't lie in the truth, but in the ability to invent lies that look even better.
Also, too, his sons are actually involved in the music industry, to which before he was arrested, his son made a rap song really questioning the federal government, really questioning potential witnesses to go forward against his father. So when you tie all those things together, you look at the social media dynamic, the social currency, the ability to use music.
Now, all eyes are turning to Diddy, not because of his music, not because of his business empire, but because of what he might be willing to trade for freedom. Inside Brooklyn's MDC lockup, the bad boy founder is playing a very different game now. He's reportedly enrolled in self-improvement courses, therapy groups, and domestic violence programs. Officially, it's being spun as a journey toward accountability. Unofficially, legal experts are calling it what it is, a calculated bid for sympathy ahead of his October sentencing. One former federal prosecutor put it bluntly, calling it gamesmanship and lawyering 101. Diddy isn't just hoping for leniency, he's building a character arc. The question is, will the judge buy the rebrand? But that may not even be the most shocking move coming from Diddy's corner. Whispers are starting to circulate in legal circles that Combs, now cornered and facing serious prison time, could be preparing to cooperate with federal investigators. Multiple defense attorneys off the record say the feds may be dangling a deal behind closed doors. The catch, Diddy has to give them something huge. And right now, there's only one name that could shake the walls in DC and send shockwaves through the Trump campaign: Donald J. Trump.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
We've already seen the edges fray. Diddy's sprawling legal troubles stretch far beyond a single trial, with more than 60 lawsuits pending and several insiders reportedly preparing to testify in civil and criminal cases alike. The dam is under pressure. If Diddy starts talking, especially about what went down inside Mar-a-Lago or during those now infamous freak-off weekends, the implications could be historic. According to two former investigators familiar with the case, there's mounting speculation that tapes, guest lists, and digital records still exist, and Diddy may know exactly where they are.
Though interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence. But
if he flips, Trump won't just be facing headlines, he'll be staring down a betrayal that could undo the myth he spent decades crafting. Because it's not just about optics anymore, it's about survival. And if Diddy believes he can buy himself fewer years behind bars by turning over the truth, Trump's carefully spun web could unravel faster than a knocked-over house of cards. That looming threat has already started to fracture the MAGA base. Online forums that once cheered Trump's every move are now riddled with doubt. Some of the president's most devoted supporters are posting screenshots of old photos, Trump and Diddy together at benefits, courtside at events, even flanking Melania and Kim Porter at high society galas. The once dismissed images now feel like clues, breadcrumbs. One thread that went viral asked bluntly, how deep was he in with the freak-off crowd? Another warned if Trump really knew what Diddy was doing and said nothing, then he's no better than the swamp. The Epstein files didn't help. MAGA loyalists spent years demanding Trump reveal everything. Promises were made, grand jury testimony was teased, but when the much-hyped binders turned out to be little more than glorified press kits, the disappointment was palpable. Then came the firing of Maureen Comey, daughter of James Comey, prosecutor in the Diddy and Epstein cases, and, conveniently, a high-profile thorn in Trump's side. Her abrupt dismissal only added fuel to the growing theory that this wasn't just political drama, it was targeted damage control. Even Elon Musk, once an ally, stirred the pot with a now-deleted post that read, Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why they haven't been released. Short, brutal, and impossible to ignore. Since then, the silence from Trump's camp has been deafening. No denial, no clarification, just more bizarre AI memes and threats against reporters. Meanwhile, rumors keep swirling that deep inside the Justice Department there are sealed documents, unreleased evidence, and perhaps even sealed indictments, waiting for the right name to crack them open.
Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
Some insiders believe that Diddy might already be in talks to deliver just that. One entertainment lawyer familiar with the Diddy lawsuits claims his team recently asked about protective immunity, specifically the kind offered to witnesses in high-level federal cases. They don't ask those questions unless they're thinking about dealing, the lawyer told us. That's not a rumor, that's procedure. So where does this leave Trump? Stuck between a collapsing celebrity friendship and an increasingly disillusioned base. His public image, once fueled by rebellion and outsider bravado, is now tangled in the very elitist networks he once claimed to fight. The same man who vowed to drain the swamp now looks like he's been swimming in it, shoulder to shoulder with a convicted mogul whose court records read like a dystopian thriller.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
And we haven't even scratched the surface of what's still locked away in Diddy's vault. The tapes, the photos, the rumors about controlled substances, staged parties, and influential guests forced into compromising situations. If even a fraction of those whispers turn out to be real, Trump's digital distractions won't be enough to save him. No AI meme can erase a paper trail. No cartoon can outpace federal subpoenas. Behind the spectacle of memes and legal filings, what's becoming harder to ignore is the psychological weight pressing down on both men. Trump, once the king of controlled chaos, now appears more brittle by the week. His posts aren't just provocative anymore. They're erratic, almost frantic, pulsing with the energy of someone who feels the walls closing in. Observers close to the campaign say he's growing more paranoid, quick to lash out at staffers, and obsessed with controlling optics at every turn. The once defiant confidence has thinned into something darker. A man fighting shadows of his own creation, clawing to hold onto a version of reality that fewer and fewer people still believe in.
It was like, wow, for Diddy? What? You know, that was a person that I looked up to, he was a mogul, and I listened to all the artists that he made superstars. And so to have a chance to be able to be signed to him, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, I'm here. I finally did it.
Diddy, meanwhile, is wading through a much colder kind of unraveling. Gone are the flashy declarations of innocence and Instagram flexes. What's left is a man sitting alone in a federal holding facility, stripped of entourage, fame, and control. His participation in therapy programs and self-improvement workshops may look good on paper, but the transformation, if it's happening at all, seems driven more by fear than remorse. Legal insiders describe him as increasingly anxious, consumed by thoughts of what evidence still exists, who might testify next, and how many people he trusted might already be cooperating behind his back. The emotional toll of leading lives so deeply tied to secrecy is finally breaking through their polished veneers. For years, both men thrived in environments built on spectacle and manipulation, Trump with his rally theatrics and business bravado, Diddy with his industry power plays and mythic parties. But when the fantasy starts to crack, it's not just reputations that fall apart. It's identity. Trump's whole persona hinges on dominance, never weakness. Diddy's empire was built on being untouchable, adored, and feared in equal measure. Now, with prosecutors, whistleblowers, and civil litigants circling, that illusion is bleeding out fast.
Of coming forward, they've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
Psychologists who study high-profile public meltdowns often point to a critical tipping point, when the gap between public image and private reality grows so wide, it becomes impossible to sustain. That's where Trump and Diddy appear to be right now. Two men who built empires on control, now watching that control dissolve in real time. The cognitive dissonance, the round-the-clock vigilance to keep stories straight, suppress evidence, and silence dissent. It doesn't just exhaust the body, it warps the mind. Every day brings new revelations, new risks, and new reasons to fear the truth slipping through. What we're witnessing isn't just a collapse of two public figures, it's the psychological implosion of the mythologies they crafted. The more they try to hold it together, the more visible the fractures become. And as the legal clocks tick louder, the fear gripping them both might become their most dangerous motivator. Because when powerful men start panicking, not just legally, but emotionally, they don't go quietly. They grasp, they lash, they drag others down with them. And the closer we get to the full truth, the more likely it is that one of them finally breaks.
So she testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he raped her, assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone against her.
So here's the real bombshell. What if Diddy flips and it works? What if, to protect himself, he burns Trump in the process? What happens to the MAGA movement then? What happens if Trump is no longer seen as the persecuted outsider, but as an enabler of the very system he promised to tear down? We're watching a scandal brew that could make Watergate look like a sitcom. If the rumors are true, if Diddy really has the goods and the motivation to talk, this could be the collapse of a political persona built on defiance and denials. Could this be the scandal that finally exposes the truth behind the Trump myth? Is the fallout coming not from a political opponent, but from an old friend with too much to lose and nothing left to protect? Let us know what you think in the comments. If Diddy talks, does Trump walk? Or are they both going down together? Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and never look away when the powerful start to panic.